Alright, so I'm gonna do a little deck profile for you, for branded, just to give you a good idea of what to do with the deck. Usually you can run this at about 50 or 60 cards. I mean, it plays pretty comfortably into that because most of the cards in here are either starters or they get you to your main card, which is this, or one of your main cards is Branded Fusion. The main goal, summoning all these dragons and having them do different shit. So, um, for the in-engine stuff, I'd say one a Despian Tragedy. Um, when it gets sent to the graveyard or banished, you can add one Despian monster, and usually you use this to add Aliber. Aliber is one of your best summons, like special summons or normal summons. Um, Mostly because he gets you to Branded Fusion or any other branded cards you need, like Branded in White or High Spirits, So he's pretty important. So I would definitely play this at one. You don't need more than one really. And then the second effect, the banish from the graveyard, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah. Ignore the hand traps, but I would say Ash is like the only hand trap you really need. Um, Falling of Albaz, you need three of. That's the main card. That's the main man. You definitely need three because the normal special summon effect where he fusion summons a monster using your opponent's monsters, you don't really use that part, but it comes up. It does come up. Um, and most of the fusion monsters you go into include his name in it, as you can see, except this. But most of his in archetype shit, you have to use him. So yeah. Aliber, that's again really important guy. Gets you branded speller trap, and it's destroy at least the field because an opponent's card effect with those cards in the graveyard. Um, I never used that second effect, but that's really nice. It's a negate if you have a face-up fusion monster destroyed while this is in the graveyard. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Um, Mercurier, you can play one or two. You don't have to play two, but as a hand trap for monster effects, that's pretty much it. As long as you have a fusion monster with Fallen Albaz as material, you're gonna have one. Okay, you're gonna have one. And then the banished, when it's banished, you get a Fallen of Albaz as or a monster that mentions it. Really good. A lot of monsters mention him. Um, like Blazing Cartesia. There's another really important card, which I would say two of. You don't really need three. Um, and one, you kind of want to see her. But there are ways to get to her. So I would still play two because she's a quick effect fusion. Um, and she's can special summon if you have Albaz in your graveyard, which most of the combos you go through, he's gonna be in your graveyard. So yeah. Going backwards a little bit, Spriggan's kit again mentions Fall Albaz in her name or her description. Um, that's just another body, and then she can also add a branded spell trap that's banished or in your deck or graveyard. So I mean she searches it all. You know, the putting one card back, not that big of a deal. You can put some shit back you don't need. Golden Sword Soul, really optional. He's just nice. Again, he mentions Fallen Albaz in the name. And if a monster's banished face up, um, he can pretty much get out her or Quim. I'll go into Quim in like a few seconds. But yeah, he can get these two out if he's in the graveyard. The negate attack part, not bad. I never really use that part. I usually use the second part just because it gets you these two. These two. All right, now Quim. She's a Despia monster, but she's really just again you send Fallen Outbows to your graveyard or a card that mentions them. there's a lot of cards that mention him. So, um, and if a card leaves the extra deck, target one fall on Albaz. That's really good. Where she special summons a monster that mentions him or that is him. I mean, you can't argue with that. Fuelos, pretty much maxi. If your opponent special summons from the extra deck or the deck, draw a card. Can't really beat that. I have two because I just play two, but you can play three. I would say play three, honestly. But you can also play what you want. It's not as good as Max C because, um, mainly because it's Max C can just draw you cards from summons in general. This has to be from the deck or the extra deck. So, and then you have to put back cards if you get um yeah more cards than your opponent controls +6. So yeah, um, he's really important. He's a disruption. You can banish your opponent's cards too and summon them, and it's a quick effect if they have a monster in them. He adds a dragon from the deck to the hand or graveyard. So he gets you resources or recycles shit like this or Albaz himself. Yeah. Um, Ad libitum, very optional, but it's a good fusion material. Um, lets you recycle one of your fusions that's in the graveyard, which you will have some in the graveyard. Um, Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, you need three. He's pretty much just a searcher again. He can special summon or draw a card. And then sometimes, again, you want to send um, some of these branded traps or Albaz himself to the graveyard. So he can be a special summon or, again, fusion material or a draw one, which that's never bad. Dramaturgs, same thing. He's very optional. I would say play it, but again, optional. He just special summons if he gets fused off. So just another body on board. Um, Baldrake, another bestial, does the same thing as this one, where he banishes a card and special summons. I think if your opponent has a ritual, fusion, synchro exceeds, or link, tribute another light or dark monster, and then banish whatever monster they summon. So that's pretty nice. Jerusalem, same thing. Except when he leaves the field, you can target a special summon monster and send it to the graveyard. So that's why these two are one. They're both good, but you don't really need three. You do need three of this, specifically for the bestial monster or branded spell and trap card or send when he gets sent to the graveyard. Use him to send this. Now, this is a really important card too, but you don't really need three or more than one. Maybe two. Maybe two. Um, so this guy can tribute over either these guys, because they're level 6 or higher. This, if you special summon it, or one of your fusions, which you can do and kind of get away with. And then he gets you to this card, which is really important. Branded Lost. So the activation of your cards and affects the fusion summon a fusion monster can't be negated. And it can't activate cards or effects when a fusion monster is fusion summoned. I mean, you can't argue with that. And then if you fusion summon a fusion monster, you add a card that mentions Fallen Albaz. That's come on. That's like a million cards. This mentions them. This mentions them. This does. This does. This does. I think he's the only one that doesn't really mention them. This does. This. You know. This. As long as it has that in the text, you can search it. So really good. Brandon and White is another fusion card, but it's very situational. So I would say one. You don't need more than one. Um, Polymerization is in here for like one monster. I ain't gonna lie. It's for this. because of its very last effect, where it can't be targeted by card effects if you have polymerization in your graveyard. Also, it's kind of hard to summon him in this deck without polymerization or Brandon and White, because Brandon Fusion only works on a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz, and the other fusion card, which is Brandon and Red, which through your combos you mostly end your phase on or end your turn on this face down for your opponent's turn. It also just mentions or fusion to a level 8 or higher. Which, I mean, you can still use Brandon Red to go into this, but you won't get the protection effect, which is pretty solid. This card is good as fuck without the protection effect though. So, um, yeah, these two, polymerization and this, are the way to get to this. What else? Branded Regained, really good card. Again, another one of. Um, so when a white or dark monster is banished, you target one and place it on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. Um, that's for you or your opponent. So, and then once per turn, if your opponent normal special summons, you get a Bestial out. So, I mean, all these guys are pretty solid. Even him, um, but most of these two are really good. So you can recur them. Um, Branded Opening is a pretty much a searcher. So you can use this to search either this or this or this, but you really want to search him again. He's really important. So you use Branded Opening to search him. Um, and you can't special summon except fusion monsters. Your whole deck is gonna be fucking fusion monsters, okay? So it doesn't matter. He also has this also has a protection effect. I never peeped that, but yeah. High Spirits is also another searcher. Um, and then if you send a fusion monster to the graveyard, which I'll show or explain a little bit, you can add this to the hand, which is neat. He also sends or it also sends a level 8 fusion from your extra deck. Yeah. So that's really nice because you can use like reveal this and then send this. I'll explain. Anyways. Banishment is a fusion uh card again, just a trap version of it. Um yeah. Retribution is a counter trap. Um which again, the two fusion monsters being in your graveyard, most of the time it'll be like that. So pretty useful. Um, and it's a negate and destroy. So yeah, that's really nice. The banish and target one that's in the graveyard, that's also really nice. So it recurs cards. And then Branded Beast is a destroy if you have a Bestial. You tribute one dragon monster and destroy a card. Um, and he can also, or I keep saying he, but this can also get these two back if they're in the graveyard. So yeah, that's why you only play one of each. Is this it could just get it back. So this is I didn't go over this card, but this adds a card that's mentioned on a fusion monster you have. So usually you use this to get her, but you can use it to get other cards besides her. Again, just another searcher. Besides these cards, you could play, where is it at? Super Polymerization. That's really good because, again, you don't really care about discarding some of your cards in your hand. They still work in the graveyard, and neither player can interrupt this card. And you can usually fusion summon or use your opponent's monsters to fusion summon, like, say, where's it at? This, which is really good just because of the, if it's sent to the graveyard in any way, draw a card. Or you can summon this guy right here, um, which negates an activated effect of a monster that has a counter that you put on it, and you do it at quick effect speed. So, um, yeah, that's the only other card I can really think of. Again, I'm not like the expert on branded. I used to play it a lot back then. That was before they got a lot of cards in it. You could put Foolish Burial if you want, or Gold Sarcophagus. Those are good. Um, this is also really good because it adds a normal spell of trap. If your opponent activates an effect, which if they hand trap you, you can add say this. But let's be honest, you're gonna add this or this. You know, um, pretty much these two. You probably want to add this, but yeah, depending on what you have in your hand. Okay. Now the extra deck, this guy, Titanic class. So this guy pretty much gets big attack points, equal to the original levels on the monsters used for his fusion summon. So usually, when you fusion summon, you use at least him or this plus like him. So or let me see whose material is a monster with 25 or more. So yeah, so these guys, this, him, and then him. But you can also use like another fusion monster. So you see, like he gets pretty big, um, attack wise, and is unaffected by activated effects of any other monster. Special summon from the extra deck. That's really good too. Um, Now most of these guys have this during the end phase if it's sent there. They have an additional effect. So for him, he can add to your hand or special summon Fallen of Albies from your deck. Um, I mean, that's pretty good. So, um, needless to say, yeah, that's pretty good. Because even if you don't special summon it, you could just add it to your hand. Albion is he fuses to fuse out another monster usually, but the reason you play two is because of that. If it's sent, you can set or add one branded spell or trap. So usually at the end of your turn, he'll be in the graveyard because um you use him, or usually you use like Fauna Albaz. This is an example in him to go into this, and so he'll be in the graveyard. Um, and then you activate his end phase effect to put this down for your next turn or for your opponent's turn. This guy he changes um, everything that's not a fusion monster or level 8 goes to 0 attack. And he also special summons a Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster when he's sent by an opponent's card effect. Um, so that's nice. This is your main like boss monster on one of them. He can send a monster from the extra deck that mentions Fauna Albaz and banish a card or a monster. And there's ways, even though it says you can't use this the next turn, that only applies if you keep him on the field. So once this card leaves the field, which also it has a really good effect once it leaves the field, by an opponent's card effect, it destroys all their monsters. But the main thing is if you say I'm trying to remember, there's a way to loop that effect where it can still apply on the next turn. Because again, it only applies if the monster stays on the field, I think. I think you'd have to hard fuse him again, and then on like the next turn, and then you can get that effect again. But it just can't be on the field. Um, on their turn, and then you can get the banish effect again. So it's just wording, you know. Yeah. Lubellion, you only need one again. He's just a he gets you to another fusion monster. That's all. That's pretty much it. Um, Now Alba is I would say he's optional, but if you play against somebody that has a lot of dragon monsters, or their deck is mainly dragon monsters, well, guess what? Falling of Alabama plus a dragon, you special summon him, you fuse all their shit, and you get him. All their shit's gone, and then you get him. Um, and he also has polymerization. I never noticed that. Yeah, so that's another reason to keep polymerization in your deck. Now him right here, I will put two. Not gonna lie, I would put two, and I would take something out. Um, he has a really good if it's sent to the well. First of all, he can send a level 6 or higher from the deck to or extra deck to the graveyard, which you can send him, and then use his effect to send this. And then while you have a level 6 or higher on the field, you summon him and use him to get this. So yeah, I will put two of him. His second effect also solid, but mainly that first effect is really good. So yeah, I will put two of him and I will take something out. Um, Rindbrum is also really good. Um, he's pretty much just a negate, and he sends the monster back to the hand. Which, if you send a fusion monster or something back to the hand, goes back to the extra deck. So, uh, yeah, really good interruption there. Um, and then the during your opponent's turn while it's in the graveyard, that's also really good because say you summon special summon him, you can also use his card or his effect to fusion summon using either side of the field. So you could use that effect, special summon him, and then go into something like this. You know, Sanctifier also really good. He can't be targeted, and then he can special summon one monster from each graveyard during your opponent's turn. Now, usually people use this shit in a really scummy way. They'll summon some shit or send a card to the opponent that says like, "Oh, you can't summon monsters" or something. Real scummy shit. And then they'll special summon the monster to their field using him right here, and then they can't summon monsters. But they've banned most of the monsters that do that shit. So, I mean, this is still solid, you know, because again, you could probably summon him and then another monster they got and then fusion summon. So yeah, he's not terrible. Um, this he destroys cards up to the number of light and dark monsters you use as material. That's pretty much it. And I never really use that second effect that increases a dragon's level to 8, but that's useful. I'm pretty sure that's useful. So yeah. Um, this is a really good card too. If you're playing against a dragon deck, or spellcaster deck, they cannot activate any effects. Yeah, while this is face up, it's really really scummy. And then he can also target one dragon and one spellcaster, and then special summon one, place the other one on the bottom of the deck. So again, really solid. I've kind of explained him a little bit, but he gets fusion summon. You do have to use one from the hand in the field, which isn't too bad, but you draw cards equal to the number of materials you used, and destroy cards equal to the number of cards used as material from the field. So, say you have two monsters on the field, one in the hand. You summon him. You draw cards. You would draw one, and then, or say you have one card in the hand you use and two on the field. You would destroy two cards and draw one card. So yeah, and then while polymerization's in there, can't be targeted. So. And then this is the last one. He's mainly for how much attack he has. Um, and then he can also banish extra deck monsters at quick effect speed, which is really good. Um, And he inflicts damage equal to the opponent's monster or defense, the attack or defense original. Oh, I never knew that. Okay, yeah. And he's 3,200, so it's like he's pretty beefy. Um, if I had to take any one of them out, maybe this. It's really situational. It's a really situational card, whereas two of this isn't situational. Um, and then other monsters. There's other fusions he has right here. Like this can be targeted, and then he can special summon a Trapper or Fallen of Albaz from the deck. He's not terrible, but he's just not stronger than some of the other ones. And then Sprint, yeah, same thing. He's just not the most powerful. Um, that's the only thing. He's just not the most powerful compared to the other ones. And Alba System Dogmatic Calamity, also really good, but just harder to summon. That's the only thing. Um, I didn't even notice the fucking you can't attack unless you send an extra deck from the or extra deck card to the graveyard, which isn't bad because they activate the effects or their effects. Um, and then if you have six or more fusion monsters with different names that have Fallen of Albaz, you send all the cards in each player's extra deck to the graveyard. That's fun. Yeah, that's really fun. That could fuck somebody's day up. Might not fuck your day up, but yeah. He's not bad, but just very situational. And then again, if you want to run super polymerization, you could play this guy especially. He's also a really good pick for this deck, just in general, because spellcaster dragon. Um, here's a dragon. Here's a spellcaster. Here's another spellcaster. Here's another. Here's another spellcaster. Yeah. Um. So yeah, he's not bad either. Um. Yeah. And then he's a banish if your opponent activates an effect of a special. If your monster, oh lord, if a monster uses its activated effect to special summon itself or a monster with its same original type, you can banish it. Okay, so yeah, he's not bad. And in super polymerization again, you could play this. There's Mud Dragon of the Swamp too, which you could play. But again, that's if you want to play super polymerization. It's a solid card in general. So I think that's pretty much it. If you want to play 60, um, I would say add more either hand traps or something, and then play where's it at? This. So you could send up to like 19 cards from your deck to the graveyard, and then they all have their effects go off. So yeah, um, we could play Disruption like this, or Raigeki, Lightning Storm, Heavy Storm, shit like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it though.